Alright, hey guys, I just want to do a couple of updates on my video. I think I told you guys I would update you on the coupler job and the teeth on the Dennis Seamoff head. So I want to do that. I got to get out to the machine. Figured I'd update you too on the mulching progress out on our little, hopefully one day soon to be farm. So if you watched the last video on the Dennis Seamoff and the 299 update, I showed you all our farm progress. I was in the middle of mulching up trees I've got a couple of these fields mulched up. You can still see the windrows in them. I've got a little bit more I've got to come through and mulch. We've got pieces like that get buried down in the soil, and just got to dig them up. These windrows run east to west. It's not ideal for blueberries if that's what we ultimately decide to do. So we may need to rotate them north to south. Not really looking forward to that, but we've got some time to let everything decay and just start disking it or tilling it, loosen up the topsoil. So we got my machine out here. Probably do some more mulching later, but I want to walk to it and that coupler job. So what I was doing was swapping out flat face couplers for the screw-on types on my HiFlo, because the machine came with the screw-on couplers, and they're a pain in the butt to get the hoses off and on and all that. But my flat face couplers started leaking a couple hundred hours in, so I just didn't like that. So I was going to go back to the screw-on couplers because they're not supposed to leak. And I was all excited. I felt like I made a mistake by taking off the screw-on couplers. Well, I'm back to flat face couplers. 4 days on this repair, and man, a lot of money later. I had to get Kat out here to help me finish it. So what ended up happening was, yeah, they're not leaking. Well, that's good. So these are new couplers. I had to replace all the HiFlo couplers on the hose side and the machine side. I was attempting to do it myself. I could have done it myself, but I just get to a point where just like, this is ridiculous. Just get someone else out here that knows what they're doing. And so I had Kat come out. I was having a hard time getting this coupler off the machine, and so you end up you just got to take everything off, the covers and all that, and expose it. And even then, they got so much torque behind them. I was having a hard time breaking it. But I called Kat out and I told him, look, just come out, just replace my couplers. He came out and he looked at it and he said, he talked me out of the screw-on couplers, but we put them on. I ran the machine for about 5 minutes with the screw-on couplers just to test it. And I get off the machine, I try to disconnect my couplers and my lines, and I couldn't. It took a 6-foot breaker bar to unscrew the coupler, and it's like, I can't do this every time. And I was talking to the Cat mechanic, and he said, I remember working on this machine when you wanted them swapped out initially from screw-on couplers to flat face couplers, and he said we had the same problem. It took 3 guys to unscrew the screw-on couplers. And he said, I remember walking to my supervisor and I said, are you putting these machines out there with these screw-on couplers? Now look, this is just my experience. I've got a feeling, it's just, they're not this hard to get off. But he said he would not recommend those screw-on couplers. It took 3 Cat guys plus taking everything off to disconnect the hose. He goes, you can't expect these guys to do this out in the field. It's hard enough with these quick release flat face. But what ended up happening was, when I got the machine initially, they put 45-degree angles on my hoses just to kind of try to angle them down. I don't know why, because ultimately the 45-degree coupler adapter, it was smaller in diameter, inside diameter, than the hose, and so my flow was being, to some extent, restricted, and I don't know, it really just shouldn't have been that way. And so ultimately went back to flat face. I had to replace them all because the way the 45-degree adapter was sitting, it was a coupler, the 45-degree adapter, and then the hose. First, it was sticking out, you know, all the metal was just sticking out so far. But the way the pressure on the lines were leaning, it wore out one side of my male coupler. And I'll walk back up there and I'll show you. So we back to flat face. I had to buy new couplers. It was just, you know, we're pushing $1,000 on that, and that, a lot of people just let their couplers leak. Probably should just do that, but I prefer to run my machines dry. So these teeth, I wanted to update you on the teeth also. These were the teeth that were chipping real bad. These are type 2 metal teeth, and you have to go back to my previous video to get my initial thoughts on them. These are, I believe, type 2 metal, and these are the Dennis Seamoff teeth that came with the head. Now, these two, I'm just trying them out to see, is it worth the cost savings, or am I losing too much teeth in between sharpening? And to be honest, they seem to be doing just as well as the type 3 tooth. These teeth are made over in Texas, and you can see how they're flat. They're trying to get rid of this angle here, which you got to grind out as you're sharpening, or else this becomes the first thing that hits your material. So you can't just sharpen the tip. It's easy to sharpen the tip and walk away, but you've got to sharpen the whole face of the tooth to keep the angle. So they were trying to speed things up by getting rid of that for you, which my biggest complaint was I chipped every tooth initially when I first ran them, and my theory is the metal was just so thin where it was just brittle. But now I'm at a part in the tooth where the metal's a lot thicker and it's able to take the hits. So the verdict's still out. I'm leaning towards this tooth. The reason I'm trying this is these two teeth are like $22 a piece, something like that, compared to $45, $50 for the type 3 tooth that Dennis Seamoff sent. I'm leaning towards not the flat face one, but the other one. Seems to be holding up pretty well. So let me walk back and pull out one of those couplers just to kind of give you an idea of the wear that took place, because I had those 45-degree adapters on. So we're hoping next December, in about a year, to start planting these fields. Everything needs to be just right, though. I mean, we can't rush it. Blueberries this far south, a little bit harder to grow, but we just got to make sure everything's right. We got a lot of organic matter to mix into the soil still, and on top of it, it's still got to decompose a good bit. So we're thinking about making this section here, we'll turn that into a barn, and also, you know, I don't want to say a store, but that's where we would check out if we end up doing like a U-pick or something, where customers will come get their buckets and have their checkouts. One problem I've had out here, which I'm trying to resolve and probably won't be able to, is the enormous amount of wasp. You know, I'm wondering if my white tarps and the white camper is attracting them, because they just, well, and my shed's white. I mean, they love hiding up in that shed. I mean, 50, 60 of them on a hot sunny day. So I'm trying out these wasp traps. One there. I've got one there. I've got one on the other side, and let's see if they work pretty well. All right, so here's my worn out. So here's the 45s that I was dealing with that were on the machine, and well, you can kind of get an idea by looking at them. So you can see how much smaller the 45 is on the inside diameter than the coupler itself. So I mean, here's the male end of the coupler. It's that's gonna impede to some extent performance. So I was like, well, let's just take the 45s out. I don't see a purpose in them. And then, well, then I hope you can see this, because if I can talk you out of the 45s, but you could see here just along the edge, you see how it's all beat up? That's because it's on the back side, it's not beat up. On the front side, it is. It's all worn out. Let's see if I can get this in the sun. I don't know if you can see it. But that's because that's where the 45 was hanging, and the hose was hanging on that side, just creating a lot of pressure. So those are out. They're now in the backup pile. I gotta throw them out. Not at 70, 80 bucks a piece. But so that's just the update. Couplers, fat face. Flat face is what I'm going with, and those Dennis Seamoff teeth are still up in the air. I definitely will change them out to the cheaper version. Just haven't picked which one yet. I do like the flatter ones without the angle are a lot easier to sharpen. I just got to make sure they're going to hold up to the abuse. I mean, I'm basically chewing up all those palm trees. That's the kind of stuff I'm in on a regular basis. Plus some pepper trees and semi-hardwoods. So, all right, well, hopefully that helps you out. And just if you can, subscribe, share the video. And yeah, guys, it's Christmas season. So if you're watching this during Christmas season, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have a good one.